Well, I can see Tommy bopping.
We're live, Val. I'm just playing the music.
Okay. I have a feeling we're going to start, we're going to have to hum or something. We're going to have to sing the song in the beginning of the show going forward.
We are back. It's been a week. We're back. The Professionals and Animal Lovers Show. We're back, Val. What did you want to say? You were saying words while the song was going. What were you saying?
Oh, well, we couldn't hear it. So I was just saying.
Oh, no kidding. All right. Well, I hope everybody else heard it. All right. Well,
we're going to have to learn a cappella, like harmony, and then introduce it ourselves.
This is the Professionals and Animal Lovers Show. Every single week we come to you on a Monday at 5:30. Sometimes we bring music. Apparently, sometimes we don't. I don't know. Apparently, we're going to start singing. Ba, 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 ba. Listen, we want to amplify the message that we believe the bond between animal lovers is incredibly strong. We think it mirrors that relationship between pets and their owners. And we do three main things on this show. We do a lot of things, but we do three main things. We're here to learn, we're here to educate, and ultimately we're here to advocate. And that's what we do together. We bring animal lovers together, people who are fighting on behalf of animals. We bring them together so they can work to protect, take care of, and nurture animals. Val, what's up? What's going on?
Hey, so much is going on all the time. I wanted to personally thank everyone who purchased a ticket to our lunch coming up on February 1st. We've been sold out for weeks, and it's not the first time, won't be the last time. I also want to thank our sponsors. We have 3 phenomenal sponsors. We only had room for 3. We sold those out right away. And so thank you to the Canine Shop, Robert Tucker and his wife, Anya. They are a raw food feeding company for canines as well as felines, and they're franchising. They have 3 locations on Long Island, soon to be a 4th in Northport, and coming soon to Greenville, South Carolina. Super exciting. The other 2 sponsors, Contour Mortgage, OMG. I mean, I can't believe I just said that, but the amount of creativity and the programs that they put together to help animals is unbelievable. I wish every realtor, every person, if you need a mortgage or a commercial loan, a reverse mortgage, whatever, please consider them. They are paying for adoption fees on behalf of their clients. They also are going to be doing a drive with one of the rescues we highlighted in the past, Camp Happy Tails NYC. And my favorite part is they are grooming and training a dog to become a therapy animal for a veteran. So when this dog, Champ, who we've met and is super adorable, when he's ready to be a service animal to a veteran, they are giving this dog to, you know, a qualified person. And that is just tremendous. So thank you, Contour Mortgage. It is an honor to work with you. And we also have Premier Payroll Solutions. So anyone in business, if you've ever tried to do your own payroll, you know what a hassle it is, keeping up with compliance, keeping up with, you know, your employees. And it is just the bane of a lot of people's existence in business. So these guys at Premier Payroll, Mike D'Onofrio and Vinny Pappardelle, my favorite pasta.
Let it go. Let it go. Pappalardo, Val, Pappalardo.
Damn.
You know, like right block, wrong house. You know what I mean?
I was so close. Okay, anyway, but they're just some of the nicest guys. They're animal lovers, compassionate to animals, and they really know what they're doing. And if you want to work with people who aren't like salesy and you know what I mean, like it's a great match. So thank you. And without any further ado, why don't we introduce our, hold on, I got the
little further ado. I don't know if that's, I don't even know if that's the right way to use it. I want to just shout out those 3 sponsors as well. And I want to say Premier Payroll Solutions, where every client matters. Contour Mortgage, your home is everything. And then my buddy Rob Tucker, right? The Canine Shop. Real dogs eat wrong. What's that? I feel like WWE, not even WWE like now, like original WWF, like with like snap it to a Slim Jim, like Macho Man, Randy Savage. You remember this stuff, Val? See, I see Holly Shan is shaking her head, nodding her head. She knows what's up. What is going on? All right, you want to do it now? You want to do the show?
Yeah, let's do the show.
All right, let's do the show. We're back. Say hello to our guests. Holly Shan is here. Jeff K is here. Val, you're a heck of a networker. We knew that before we got started. I'm doing this project program, and why don't you introduce your friends? Tell us how you connected with them, how we're all here right now on a Monday night at 5:30 Eastern time to do the show.
Sure. So Jeff, I guess, saw one of my email blasts or whatever it's called that goes out to the network. And he responded to me and was wondering, this is the most flattering response too, Jeff. I didn't even have a chance to tell you this, but he was like, so tell me about your show and this and that. So we talked about it. And then he was like, so how do we become a guest? And I was like, what do you do? And I figured out it was a good match. And he actually asked, he goes, how much do you charge? So I was like, no, but nothing,
No,
right?
You don't have, no, you don't have.
Oh yeah, my husband, of course, is like, what are you talking about? No, but we don't charge. We're bringing in animal lovers from all walks of life, and we know that it's just a natural flow of events that we want to support each other any way we can, in business, in rescue, in advocacy, right, Tommy D? So that why?
So that everyone wins, Valerie.
Especially the animals. All right, we got to work on that. Anyway, and then he, of course, was telling me about this wonderful woman who helps people, which is so important, work through their grief, whether your animal is declining in health, but sometimes they have something that you're told by your doctors, right? Like there's only a year or 6 months left, or whatever. It could be cancer. They get everything we get, and then sometimes more. And then when they cross over the rainbow bridge, how do you contend with that? How do you live your life when like your best friend is no longer there? It's got to be an incredibly gifted person to help people get through that. So I want to, I guess, let's have Jeff talk about his digital montages. He puts your memories, all your photos, videos together for you, which, by the way, I just want to say really quickly, I recently had to switch phones, and I got this whole kind of like lecture from my husband about how I have to delete stuff because I have thousands and thousands of pictures and videos. And he's like, do you realize that like 80% of your pictures are Jovi, our dog, or the cats? And I'm like, well, of course, yeah. Like, what else would they be, right? So I do see the need. I'm so afraid of deleting stuff and then never being able to find. I hear about the cloud and it's going to back everything up. I don't trust anything. I just don't trust it. So I'm going to have to figure it out. I might be a customer because other than that, I'm going to have to go and spend a lot of money at some photo place and frame everything.
Photo place? What's that? What do you got?
I don't know. But you can't frame videos. And this is what I'm saying. So if anyone's like me, we have a gentleman here who is able to, I guess, provide a service where you will know for a fact that, all of your photos, all of your videos are going to be well handled and they will be yours forever. So Jeff, let's get into this. This is important stuff.
Sure. Thank you very much. I'm Jeff K. I'm the CEO of My Digital Memories, where we preserve, protect, and organize your family memories for today and future generations. This past week was I'll say an interesting week. I actually became my own client. My 12-year-old dog that I love dearly passed, and it broke my heart.
Very sorry.
I have 2 other dogs, and they also miss her. And I was thinking, what can I do? I know I do it for a lot of customers, where I preserve not only people memories, but pet memories. And so I was thinking to myself, I need to do something special. But the more I thought about it, it's not a question of doing something special just for my dog. It's something I do for everybody's dog. And what that means is putting the time, love, and care into preserving someone's legacy. Whether it's a person, a dog, everybody's got a story to tell, everybody's got a legacy. Valerie, you were just commenting that 80% of the photos on your cell phone are of your pets.
Uh-huh.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I'm the exact same way. I've got 2 kids. I have a granddaughter on the way. Yet I have pictures going back from pets that are no longer even with me. I mean, they go back 20 years or 15 years. And so I put together for myself basically a photo video montage. And what that is, I took all the pictures that I have of various pets. And nowadays we live in a very fast-paced environment. People either can't find their pictures, they don't know where they are, they don't have time to go through each picture by picture. But so me and a lot of my clients, what I do is I make a film out of it.
Can I ask you a couple of questions? Because I am really super interested in this.
Sure.
Like, do people give you a combination of digital and also like the physical pictures, like from photo albums, and or how does that work?
Oh yeah, I do various combinations. It could be apart from a VHS tape or some type of tape. It could be from just a plain picture, could be from a cell phone, could be from an email. I can combine anything. And then, what was your second question?
I was just wondering, like, what, if any, is the capacity? Because, like, for example, I was just trying to think of, I don't remember why I was trying to send a specific video to a friend of mine of when Jovi first went swimming, and I was like having a heart attack. Barry's in the water. I was on the pier, and it was like on a lake house, and I was ready to jump in the water, and if I had to, but like I was trying to figure it out because it's not really organized in the sense of, I don't know what year that was. You know what I mean? So I was trying to remember. I'm like, well, I think we were living here and we got him in 2011, but I don't think we went to the lake house that year. So maybe it was 2012, and I'm scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. You know what I mean?
Well, it's harder to do with digital pictures, but if you have, well, even for a digital picture, you might be able to tell by the colors or the way they dress in the background, their haircuts, the cars they drive. You weren't going to be able to narrow it down to a specific year, but you might be able to narrow it down to a specific decade.
So what's the average compilation? Like I'm assuming that has something to do with prices. Like if someone gives you 1,000 pictures, it's probably a little bit more than 100 pictures, right?
Yes, but the more pictures you give me, the lower the cost per picture is. So it's kind of like shopping at Costco, for example. I lost my train of thought about something.
I'm sorry.
But one of the things you have to keep in mind is the fact that if your average picture stays from a film perspective, stays online or it transitions every 6 seconds. So
I see. Okay.
In a minute, you'll go through 120 or 6 seconds. You'll go through a variety of pictures that in a minute. I can't do the math in my head off the top of my head, which I should be able to.
It's okay.
But so your film can get relatively lengthy.
Yeah.
But
especially mine.
Let me ask you a question, Jeff. Let me jump in here real quick, because certainly, Holly, we got to get you in this conversation. So we're going to do that in a second here. So Jeff, I'm on your website right now, which is mydigital-memories.com, correct? That's your website?
That's my website.
Digital-memories.com. I'm looking on the website. You have VHS tapes, you got like Kodachrome, like little pictures and stuff. Am I to understand, like if I grab the old VHS tapes at my dad's house, my mom and dad's house, and some of the old like things we used to watch, we used to put them on the projector. You can take that, can you take all that stuff together with some of the new technology and make it one solution, like one deliverable?
Yes.
Wow.
Awesome. That's
I
really
will say this. I was the photo queen growing up. And I think I got my first camera when I was in like junior high school. And I remember it was pink. It was like a 110 camera, whatever. And then I graduated to like a Polaroid, or maybe it was vice versa. I'm not sure, but I kept getting like higher cameras or better cameras because I was obsessed with taking pictures. So fast forward to now, we don't have the film production anymore per se. I had photo albums and photo albums and photo albums, you know.
Yeah.
And every time we moved, because my husband and I have tried a couple of states out, the photo albums was just such a ridiculous conquest, right?
Yeah.
So it was like a daunting task. And eventually we did the digitization. Both of us went through all of our stuff. And there was a lot of pictures that we really didn't even want anymore. You know what I mean? Like, but we narrowed it down. I forgot how many. I think I had 500. He had whatever. It was one of the best things that we did because we were able to finally get rid of boxes and boxes of heavy photo albums.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was great. It's a great service.
Are you all familiar with you know, the George Carlin bit about like our stuff?
Stuff. Yeah.
Stuff. Oh my God. If you never saw that bit, God almighty, check that bit out. My wife and I watching George Carlin over the weekend. We didn't see that, but I love that thing with the whole stuff.
Stuff.
It's funny because I drive around the neighborhood and I keep seeing these storage facilities popping up. They just built one right in my neighborhood. It looks beautiful. And I actually did a day of service with my sons. Shout out to General Needs, which is an organization that serves veterans here on Long Island. And we were out there on Saturday, and we were at a storage unit in East Northport here in Long Island. And I just can't get over the amount of crap that we collect as human beings. It's really, do you like, just think about what we're talking about, Val. Like, we're talking about collecting so much stuff that your home is bursting into seams, that you now have to go buy another garage, rent another garage every month,
Yeah.
with all this stuff. I was going to use another word, but we don't cuss here on the show, but all that stuff. I mean, God almighty. So look, that's just a lot of, anyway, that was coming up for me because I actually happen to be, I don't know if you would go as far as say hoarder, but like the cousin of the hoarder, like the pack rat. I think that's where I sort of
I bring up a great point.
Yeah, tell me. Yeah.
Is that if you have pictures in a storage unit or an attic or a garage,
Yeah.
take them out.
Not so good, Al, right? Like in Happy Days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your pictures need to live where you do. Your average photos and your average videos last about 25 years.
Really?
Depending upon where they're
Wait,
stored.
VHS?
Yes.
Oh my God. I gotta actually get on this because I mean I'm 45 the other day, and those videos are probably as old as me.
Yeah, so I mean, there's no hard and fast rule that's how long it lasts.
Yeah.
But that's an approximation. And then
So Holly, I'm super curious also about I'm assuming that like people who are doing this for their pets who they've lost, in your mind, or I guess in your professional services, right? That's cathartic, for lack of a better
Absolutely.
word. Yeah.
extremely.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is. Yeah. And
I
so
mean, having lost my beloved pet a week ago, as I was before we started, I told you the day after I was physically sick.
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you call Holly, Jeff? Because that's what Holly does, this type of work, right?
Actually, her and we did speak.
Yeah.
And it was really comforting for me because it got me through it. As everybody knows, there's 5 stages of grief, which Holly can talk about. I'm in the first stage, and it's going to take me a while to get to the part of acceptance.
Yeah.
But what has helped me is preserving these memories and putting and remembering the times that I've had and the steward that I have been to my pet from the time from cradle to grave.
Yeah, that's pretty, I mean, it's special. I want to read this off Holly's website real quick, Val, if I could sneak in here for a second. The animal
Yes.
kingdom is filled with thinking, feeling, sentient beings who are always communicating with us. We can understand them if we are quiet enough to listen. We can understand them if we are quiet enough to listen. Holly Shan, tell me about that.
So yeah, it's one of those things where we as humans, we're kind of complicated. There are so many things that we are bombarded with, so many things that go through our heads. And the thing of it is that our animals they're always talking to us, even from our own pets to to animals that are out in the wild. They're constantly talking to us. And the thing of it is that everybody has the ability to understand them and to open up that line of communication. And the key factor, the foundational factors of doing that is settling down, take a breath, quiet everything, and be open the channel and just allow that communication to happen. Even if it's looking at a bird on a branch and just saying hi.
I do that.
Oh,
I do that all the time.
I'm telling you, chipmunks, man. I told you about this on this show before. Chipmunks, I'm saying hello to them all the time because you don't see them a lot. But when you see them, now they're not talking back to me. Like, I mean, well, that's a whole nother story. But I'm digging what you're saying here, Holly, because we got to survive with nature. And that's a lot of what we're talking about here on the show is to bring this down to a point where we are communicating. I mean, look, I watch a lot of Disney because I got kids in the house. So all the animals are talking on those shows and those movies. But I think you're speaking on a different level, obviously, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they may not necessarily communicate the way we do, verbally, but it is that more intuitive process. It's that gut feeling. And the analogy that I like to use is that if you are a parent, that is, if you have children and they're in the other room and not making a sound, you still know what's going on.
Oh yeah.
You have that sense, you have those eyes in the back of your head that know exactly what's going on with those kids in the other room, even though you're not seeing them, but you know. So it's that deep knowing, and that I've learned, and that anybody else, and anybody actually who's had a bond with an animal for a time, knows what's going on with them.
Yeah.
And usually it'll show up as as a form of knowing, and it's more than just time to eat, time to go outside, time to go for an outing. I can't say the other word, otherwise it's going to cue my dog. So but it's more than just those things. You can just look at them and say, okay, yeah, I think that's what's going on.
I just want to I pulled up the word intuition just because I know what it means, but I wanted to read it. The ability to understand something immediately without the need for conscious reasoning. I think the more we can get, certainly I meditate at least daily, sometimes more than once a day. And the more we can get inside and sort of turn off a lot of the chatter, right? Like try to chill out, the more we're connected with the natural world. But I think even, on the universal consciousness level, and I think that's, I think that goes to just show a lot of what this world is about. We share this planet. It ain't just about us, man. We're just a species on this planet, right? We're just the one that can stand upright and talk, I guess, or verbally, as you say it. What brings you to this type of work? I mean, I know we're going to get into this a bit, because you speak to people as they're grieving, pet loss, grief counseling, this type of work. But how did you get here? If I could just ask it that way, Holly.
Yeah, me too.
Sure.
That's exactly what I want to know.
Sure. So getting into the animal communication part, or so for the animal communication part, I just wanted to understand my own pets. I saw my dogs looking at me. I knew they were trying to tell me something. Well, I knew they were telling me something, and I wasn't getting it. I said, okay, there's got to be a different way. There's got to be another way to understand them. And I found a teacher who was local to me, and I fell in love with the class. And really, I practiced with everybody and anybody who would let me. We had a group, a Yahoo group, if anybody remembers Yahoo groups.
Sure.
Yahoo. Exactly. Exactly. So, and I practiced with them and I took everything that she had to offer. I took every class that my instructor had to offer. And it wasn't until, I took everything she had to offer. And then I learned from Penelope Smith, who literally is the grande dame of the animal communication field. Learned from her for my advanced classes. And the business coach I had at the time said, if you really want your business to be self-sustaining, you need to do something that's not so geographically centered, because with animal communication, I don't have to be there. I just need a
You
picture.
wanted this, so interrupt one sec. You and I pulled up Penelope Smith.
Mhm.
You saw this early on as a business. I mean, it sounded like it was something like you were just into, you wanted to do it, and then, but you said, wait a minute, maybe I could do this and get paid.
Partially, because at the time when I was learning animal communication, I was doing massage for horses and dogs, because I'm certified to massage them.
Really?
Mhm.
Wow.
Yep.
Please go on.
Yeah, so I had that practice, and I really didn't intend for the animal communication to be a business, but I saw how other people did it, and with the coach I had at the time, and she said, look, you need to bring animal communication online as as something to get paid for if you want your business to be self-sustaining, because for massage I can only go but so far.
Right.
And I didn't have a massive pipeline. And after a lot of soul searching and meditating and everything about it, I said, okay, I guess it's time to get paid for it. And then my next thought after that was, oh my gosh, how am I going to bring this to my networking world, my other professionals who I network with, and tell them that I'm doing something that is this great intangible, and have them not think I'm completely off my rocker.
Well, here's the thing about this. I think the people we're talking about are going to vibe with this anyway, because they love their so much, right? So, like if you got that going for you, if you try to take this to the hedge fund world and maybe those people are not into animals, you're going to have a really difficult time. But I mean,
I think there's animal lovers in all walks, but I will say this. Yeah, but I will say this. I also think that, it's really not much different from, let's say, people who go to a psychic, and they normally will go to a psychic when they're either feeling very, uprooted, they don't know what their future is, or they lost someone special and they're hoping for some type of connection or sign, a form of communication if possible. So I don't think it's that far of a stretch. I think most people, including myself, don't believe that at the end of a heartbeat, that's the end of a soul.
Yeah,
that's right.
I mean, I do not believe, every time talking to birds anyway, every time I see a cardinal, I'm like, hey, Dad. He loved cardinals. We actually put a cardinal on the back of his, the laminated memorial cards that they give out at like funeral parlors. And instead of religious, no offense to all of those guys, but we went with nature, because my dad was super tuned into nature. My dad, just a quick little anecdote. My dad used to come home from the library. He was a huge library person. He would read like 3 books a week, but he would come home with records that he would borrow, and they were soundtracks of bird songs. And he would play, and he'd be like, this is a robin, this is a cardinal, this is a whatever. And I just remember being a kid, like,
so you learned, or was it something like when we, like, when, Holly, you said you meditate. So remember when like listening to the whales was like a big thing like 20, 30 years ago? Was it like that, Val? Was it like just birds twerp?
No, he wanted to teach me. He wanted me to be, I think for himself too, he wanted to be able to identify different bird songs.
Wow.
But I remember being a kid and looking up at him like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like thinking my dad's so weird.
Yeah, who knew?
Now I'm like, my dad was so awesome. My dad was awesome.
When I grew up, Al, my dad used to love to watch, and I didn't. It's funny now as an adult. I don't know if it's because I'm a father. I don't know what it is, but in the last like 15 years or so, I've realized I dig watching nature shows, like National Geographic, like that kind of stuff. Which I gotta be honest, like I had no interest. I wanted to watch sitcoms when I was a kid, but like my old man, I don't know what it is. If it's the nature connection, even, and now some of that, let's be honest, it's predator and prey stuff. Some of that, I mean, it's the the big old cat waiting, lying in wait, ready to pounce on a gazelle, which is part of nature, and that's what goes on. But Yeah,
Yeah.
Val, you see, you get, or Holly or Jeff, do you get drawn into those programs as well?
Absolutely. And I think one of the best programs that are that's out there right now is called My Octopus Teacher.
Whoa, cool.
Yeah, it's My Octopus Teacher. It's this wonderful balance. It's a documentary of a diver who, I think he's off the coast of Africa, and I think there's like some kind of like seaweed, or I forget exactly the precise location, but he does this, diving. He did this diving, and he just researched this octopus, but he wound up having this, having this bond with this octopus. He learned everything about the species, scientifically. Plus, there's what he could record, and this octopus wound up helping him through a lot of things he was going with. And as I'm sitting there watching it, like when I watch shows like that, and I just sit there and I'm going, yep, that's what it is. This is what we're talking about. Yes. Oh my God, yes. So everybody needs to watch My Octopus
I totally
Teacher,
wrote
that
that
is an
down.
excellent one.
I totally wrote that down, and I'm definitely going to watch it. And I will share. I've said this before. I know Tommy knows the story, but not too long ago, we were in the car and we were kind of property hunting, and we ended up in this beautiful area, and there was a huge farm with like the white horse fence. And I saw these two horses off in the distance, and gorgeous, beautiful. They were like white with brown patches. And anyway, long story short, I was like, pull over. And I just got out of the car. I was drawn to them. You know what I mean? So I got out of the car, and as soon as I started walking over to the fence, they started walking towards me. And we kind of like met at the fence. I was really slow in my approach because I don't know these horses, And
Right.
they were just like, they put their heads over the rail, and I was able to pet them, and I teared up. It was just like one of the most divine moments. It was I felt so connected, and it was like, whoa, like I can't explain it. It was like a magical moment.
When you go up, you let them smell your hand, but you don't have your fingers out. You know this, right? Because they'll think it's a carrot stick, Val, and they'll bite off your finger. So
I went for the forehead.
all right,
actually.
I'm just telling you, if you ever if they want to sniff around, don't dangle digits in front of you.
And then of course I get back in the car, and my husband was like, "Oh, they probably thought you had food." And I'm like, "That's not why."
Definitely not. It was total.
That's not why they came over to me.
It was total connection. It had nothing to do with they thought you were going to feed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But Holly, getting a little bit into, I guess, the tougher stuff, right? So when people need you, I'm sure you get plenty of referrals, but like, what does that look like? Is it like an over the phone? Is it like a consult? Is it several sessions, or is there prescription medicine involved? I'm only kidding. That's a joke.
What do you mean, like psilocybin? Is that what you were talking about?
No.
CBD.
So it really depends on the level of grief that the person's in. So for example, if they are in what I call ground zero, which is it just happened, and there's and they're not communicating well, and they are just so incredibly, since they're grieving so hard, there's no communication at all. For something like that, then you would need something like a 6 to 8 week package just to help work through a lot of it. If it's something that, hey, I feel regret, or I feel guilt around this particular thing, then that might take maybe, one or two sessions, depending on how they are. So it really just depends. It depends on the person, because every unique individual will grieve in their own unique way, because everybody's grief process is different. And what I tell people is, look, if you know somebody who's grieving the loss of a beloved pet, does not matter when they passed, doesn't matter how long they've been grieving. If they're still having a hard time, and if they want some help, I'm more than happy to help them.
Yeah.
Because the people who grieve the loss of their animals deserve the exact same dignity, compassion, understanding, and respect as people who are grieving the loss of another human. And I think society has this whole bugaboo about grief in general. And this is where a lot of platitudes and stuff come in. And I'm not going to get on the platitude soapbox, because I could talk all day about those.
We don't know what that means. So what is a platitude?
So a platitude is one of those things where somebody will say, oh, it happened for a reason, or oh, God wanted that dog, or oh, they're better off. There's these little statements to help kind of, deflect, or they try to make the person who's grieving feel better, but in most cases they don't. I mean, now, unless if you know the person, unless if like the animal was truly suffering, then you can say, you know what, they're not suffering now, and that can be true.
Yeah.
So yeah, so and the thing is that I think a lot of people will say things to the person who is grieving to try to get them, to stop crying, to try to get them to feel better, because the person who is saying that is uncomfortable.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
Where I guess the move should be like, be quiet and be an ear for them, to let them talk to you and let them open up, versus trying to
Yeah.
like solve the problem, be like, walk it off. Like, it's not
That's
walk,
right.
right? It's like, no, this is
No, it's not walking it off.
Right.
We
That's
know
right.
we
That's
know
right. Yeah.
someone who
I did not know what platitude meant. I thought it was like longitude and platitude, but I totally had that wrong.
we know
Longitude.
someone, we have a mutual friend. We won't say her name, but when we first started talking to her and she was a prior guest, she passed the 1 year mark of losing her beloved pet and her dog.
Yep.
And I think we were on a conference call before we did the show or something like that. Anyway, she started crying a little bit, and she said she cries every single day. And I'm about to start crying. I totally get that, because I am telling you, that is probably going to be me. Unfortunately, I think I can predict myself pretty well, and I am calling it early. We're going to have like some real depressive issues, like, and like non-functioning, like I'm not even going to want to get out of bed.
How are you trying to convince me to get a dog when you tell me that this is what it's going to be like? Like, I mean,
I think we're different.
no, but I mean, generally speaking, well, maybe we certainly are different, but the point of the matter is,
Yeah. No, I'm teasing you.
I know you're going to be crushed, as you say.
I will be crushed,
Well,
but
yeah,
because they're worth it. There's
Yeah,
no other
but
way to put it.
being crushed.
They're so worth it.
There's
I
something
will
you got to
be-
take into consideration.
Yeah, jump in, Jeff, please.
There's something you have to take into consideration. Yes, you may go through, just like a human, you go through everything from birth to grave.
Right.
But if you can save that animal from a shelter or being abused or something, and give him or her a better quality of life.
Yeah.
And they in turn can teach you.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and the reason why the grief is so devastating is because of how much love and joy they bring. It's yin and yang.
Yeah.
If they didn't bring these incredible moments and memories every single day, I do say to myself, and I don't know if it's just because of how I think, but I literally say every single day when I'm walking my dog, or if he wakes up from a nap, this is the cutest thing. He brings so much of these little moments every single day. So do my cats. I've told you this, Tommy. How can you be depressed when a cat is sitting in your lap, trusting you and purring?
No, it sounds groovy, but I would be so busy sneezing, I wouldn't be able to be depressed. Or
Yes, I know, but it's sticking to the dogs, right?
Let
Like
me put
when
something
you
in
when
perspective.
you scratch the belly and you get that leg twitch, it is impossible not to smile. I mean, I think I'm above average, like obsessed with my dog, because I remember walking him, and when we first got him, and I was saying, like, we personify him a lot, and I'm just like, look at him. It's like he's on a catwalk. Like he walks and then he turns his head to look, and then he walks a little more, and then he goes whoosh, and he's got this little performance thing going on, but like
work it, Joey. Do your thing on the run. What, you didn't know I was going to do that tonight, Val? Did you? Sachet, Shante.
One can hope. But I'm just saying they're so worth it. That's why, so whatever the lunatic that I do turn into, and hopefully
Yes.
Holly can help.
Holly, I'm gonna need you on speed dial. Hef's gonna need you on speed dial. Before we go, Jeff, I know you had a point. Before we go to that point, Holly, shout out your website, your Instagram, if there is one, your Facebook, all that, and then we're gonna do the same for Jeff. Do that, please.
Sure, thank you. So my website is compassionspeaks.com, and you can find me on Instagram also at Compassion Speaks, Facebook at Compassion Speaks, and LinkedIn is Holly B. Shan.
Holly, where are you located physically?
I'm located in Northern Virginia.
Northern Virginia. Okay, got it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna follow you on Instagram, please. Jeff, do the same. And I know you had a point about animals you want to tell us about.
Let me tell you my point first. This week, I'll be celebrating my mom's fifth heavenly birthday. Just for me, I'm not going to speak by anybody else, but the loss of my pet this last week, I believe I grieved more for the loss of my pet than I did for the loss of my mother.
Wow.
And I'm not speaking for everybody else. That's just for me, because for my family has drama. Pets love you unconditionally. And
You're probably the only family that has drama, I bet.
yeah, I know. I know. I just wasn't going to speak for everybody.
No, but I get.
But
I get it, man. I get it. I mean, listen, you know what? They're always, and it's that funny like meme, and you see the videos or whatever, like, but like dogs are always just jazzed to see you, right? Like the jokes that they make, you all know because you guys are into this world, but like, or the dog is just like, you could leave for like a second and you come back and it's like, they don't realize there's no like conception of time, and they're just jazzed to see you like all the time. And the cat sort of like flips you to bird, like that whole thing, like versus the dog thing. I know you have something to say, Val. I just want to hear, Jeff, did you have anything? No, before we go to Val, Jeff, just jump in, shout out your Instagram. I shared all the Facebook stuff while we're on Facebook, but people are listening as well because there's a podcast too. So please, Jeff.
Sure. My website's mydigital-memories.com. I do have a web page, which is the same thing. I'm on LinkedIn. I believe it's Jeff or Jeffrey K1. And I do have a web page there as well. And our service is national. So we have free complimentary consultation. So if anybody has any questions, if I can help anybody, please feel free to reach out.
Love it. All right. And if you are watching us, just say theoretically you're watching us on YouTube, my buddy Hef would beat me up if I didn't say, subscribe, like what we're doing, share what we're doing, the whole thing. I think this is the first episode in 17 episodes I've done that. And it's 17 episodes since we moved times. We've been doing this since September 1st of 2021, which is now we're into our third year, I guess it is. So Val, you had a point, you always have a point, but what were you going to say? I want to make sure you get that in too.
A couple of things. Well, first of all, just so getting back to the, the love of your pets, the unconditional love. The reality is, your dog is never going to argue with you. They're never going to, let's say, betray you, let you down. You know what I mean? Like they never cause problems. They're unbelievable. The cats will give you an attitude, but that's okay. Kind of like it. Anyway, I need to mention a very important opportunity that's coming up. This is a virtual opportunity hosted by North Country Wild Care. They are delivering a course, which is a certifying course. I'll read it really quickly. New York's wildlife rehabilitator licensing exam is coming up in April. In New York State, all wildlife rehabilitators are volunteers who are licensed by the state to care for injured or orphaned wildlife in their home. New York State offers the licensing exam twice a year. I won't read the whole thing, but I will say this. We've had a couple of guests on who have this certification. They are doing incredible work saving the animals that most rescues are cats, dogs, rabbits. they're saving, like Lisa Yeager, red-tailed hawks, injured deer on the side of the road, the swan in your pool. John DiLeonardo holds the same certification. So we need more of these people, boots on the ground, willing to take the calls when someone has an injured possum that they found in their shed or whatever.
Right
And
on.
then last but not least, this is more of a fun thing. Oh, so for more info on Facebook, they're at North Country Wild Care. Pet Expo. This sounds like so much fun. So there is one in Allentown, Pennsylvania on February 3rd through the 5th. Lots of great vendors, and I would totally love to go to that. Then there's a Long Island Pet Expo, March 4th through the 5th at Suffolk Community College.
Really? Okay.
Yes. Then there is back in Philadelphia, Greater Philadelphia Pet Expo, March 10th through the 12th. And that is at the Expo Center in Oaks, Pennsylvania. And then back in Long Island, it's called Long Island Pet Expo in the Park. And it's at Tanner Park, Copiague, New York. The date is TBD. I'm assuming it's going to be April or May. But for more information, oh, geez, I closed the website.
For
More information, I'll post it in the comments later.
come back next week. You can see it right here in the show. Look, I found this. I'll share this on. It's North Country Wild Care, right, Ralph?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, that's cool. I found that. So listen, what that really meant for me is Tommy D has a lot of things to go to.
A lot of appearances.
A lot of appearances on behalf of your professional.
Oh, I have it. I have it. I'm sorry. So
Sure,
you
sure,
can get
go.
all of this information and more if you're interested in becoming a vendor or anything like that. FamilyPetShows.com.
Family.
We got to have these people on. These
Yeah,
are
no
great.
kidding. Really.
Yeah.
No kidding. Good stuff.
Okay.
All right. So here's let's do this. You know, Jeff and Holly, you know, we're big networkers, Valerie and I actually call myself the nonprofit sector connector. And, you know, what we talk about is who are the people you need to connect with? So what I want to ask is this, either who are your end users, which seems kind of obvious from what you do, but please let's underscore it again, because some people might be coming into the show late. So who are your end users? And also who are the people that are in very good position to make introductions for you? So why don't we go with Holly first, and then Holly, you look like that was going to be something to think about. You want me to go to Jeff first and give you some time?
Yeah,
Let's
go
go
ahead.
to-
Yeah, go to Jeff first for that
Pass or play. Pass or play. She said pass. Okay. I'm going to pass to Jeff. Jeff, again, who is your end user client? And then who's like the power partner, the center of influence, the person who makes a good introduction for you?
Well, as I mentioned, my services cross between pets and humans.
Right.
So from a pet perspective, vets are great.
Okay.
Pet cemeteries, if you know somebody.
Yeah.
Things along those lines, or people who have pets or have pets that have passed and they want to preserve those memories.
What about, you know, I was thinking about this. How about this? This is maybe something you hadn't thought about. And then we'll go over to our other contestant, Holly Shan. So yeah, that's my game show voice. So let's do that. I would think, what about trust and estate attorneys? You know, people, realtors who might be selling homes and things like that, who might say, you know, they might come in and the three kids come in and they say, look, we got to sell mom and dad's home. And they got all this stuff, but they're like, oh my God, this is like all these juicy memories. Like, let's do something with them. Right. That could be good. You agree?
Yeah, and it's funny you should mention that, because it's not on my website, but I do offer what's called a photo estate pack.
100%. Love it. Photo estate package. Check it out. Look, if you are somebody who is looking for these services, why wouldn't you use someone who is all about the animals just like you are? Holly Shan, talk about all about the animals. What say you?
So yeah, so the people I like to work with, you know, are the people who really look at their pets and go, what the heck are you thinking? Maybe they've tried some training, but they still won't quite get it. Sometimes people just want to check in. They just want to say, you know, I just want to check in with my pet, just see how they're doing, which we can do that too. On the grief side, it's for the people who are saying, you know what, this grief is unbearable. I don't know how I'm going to get through it. I need help. I would also love to be, you know, connected with veterinarians as well, to have to have someone who can help their clients who may have just suffered a loss, also so they can have that help as well.
So
I
I
have a
want
quick
to,
question. I'm sorry, I need to ask a quick
Yeah.
question. Are you ever involved when it comes to the process where the veterinarian, your doctor basically, is recommending euthanasia and helping people get to that point where they'll make the appointment and they have to bring in their pet, or I know there's at-home euthanasia services as well now, but what I'm saying is, can you help people handle that?
Yeah, actually, and I just recently did that a few weeks ago with a fellow boarder who unfortunately had to, humanely put her horse down. So I was there, with her when I told her, I said, look, I said, if you want me here, I'm more than happy to be here for you. And she's all, oh, you don't have to, I'm like, no, I will stand here, bear witness and be present for you. And, for this, and for this whole thing. So
Mhm.
yeah, I can be with them. If they need help to, just work through the process, their pre-grief, and their preparation for up into that point.
Yeah,
Yes, I can help them with that too.
because that's got to be the toughest step. Like for me, I mean, I never had to do that.
Mhm.
And I really pray that I don't have to ever do that.
I just
But
did that.
Uh,
Yeah.
I feel, because you know why, it's like, even if a vet says that to you and deep down it's probably the right thing, right? It's got to be the hardest thing, because you basically have to let go of any hope that you had.
Yeah.
To get to that point, right? And oh, good God. Well, you're really doing a tremendous service for people to help them and to cope, because that's really the operative word. Anyway, it's a really hard concept, but I so respect what you're doing.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, really special. And I would just say, that's a great angle and now I sound like a business guy because kind of I am, but it's a great angle to partner up with those thoughtful veterinary practices that are already in that space. And again, I've only experienced that one time. We had to do that with my old dog, Michelob Light, and which that always gets a chuckle when I tell you his real name. But we had to put him down after a long time, like 15 years, and he came up with like, my wife and I were dating like 3 weeks and we got Mickey, and then we had like 3 kids by the time Mickey was going. So it was like a very like strange situation to see him go. I would just wonder, like having that connection to the vet, and they're doing that because it is it's a cold situation. I remember it. I don't remember it like totally everything about it, but it wasn't a whole lot of like soft namby-pamby stuff.
It's a sterile environment.
Thank you, Val. It was like a metal table. It did not feel like
Mhm.
it was like, whereas Holly, look, you can't be there for everybody, but you could be there on the phone. You could be there on FaceTime. You could be there 10 seconds after I walk out of that sterile environment, right? So that's great. I think certainly as we continue I mean, Valerie and I and the Professionals and Animal Lovers show soon to have more, we're winking at you. We got some stories to tell you soon, but as we continue to grow this thing, there's going to be community here. There's going to be this community of folks that are really going to be able to connect with and support each other. And that's what we're doing here, Val. Yeah. Right. I mean, that's it. Valerie, you want to bring us home? What do we want to do here?
Actually, I would,
Okay,
mind
Jeff.
if I say one thing? You
Please.
mentioned that sterile environment. When my dog Casey that I put down last week, I didn't want to take her to, I didn't want that sterile environment.
Yeah.
I wanted a place that she knew, she was familiar with. And that's why I went with somebody in-house.
Okay. You say literally somebody came to your home. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. So
That's what I would do too.
yeah. So Casey could be comfortable in her, I mean, just to settle in wherever she wanted to.
Yes.
Yeah. I could see that. That would be better.
Yeah.
Although I could see that just being very sad too. But anyway.
It's going to be sad no matter what, but
Right.
to like I believe and I've never met, as far as I know, a pet that it wants to go to the vet, that like enjoys, a doctor visit. So
Maybe there's something to that, Valerie. Maybe that's a business opportunity. If some vet could figure out, that's like a dentist figuring out how somebody would want to go to the dentist. Like you'd have to give me like a stack of hundreds for me to like want to go to the dentist. Like I would.
You've got to surround, I think you need a room full of
You're getting
bacon or
off key.
something. I don't know, but, but no, but to your point, you know, I think that if given the option, you know, I certainly think that is, the better choice. There's no good choice, right? There's no ideal choice.
No,
But I want to say this, you know what? We've had on in the past, a funeral home director,
Mhm.
as well as, and he has a he has a grief dog that is there for his clients if they're an animal lover, and a lot of them are. And we also had on actually his former employee who, you know, she was the one who did like the hair and the makeup and all of that. I forgot what mortician.
Mhm.
I think so. Forgive me, I forgot, but I guess what my point is that, you know, unfortunately, these situations are part of life, and thankfully there are some great compassionate people who touch on, you know, these vocations. They're involved with it, and it's all the more reason to seek these people out, because when you're going through it, you do not want to contend with people who don't get it.
Right.
Well, I mean, is that what we're doing here, Val? You know,
Yeah.
mortuary makeup artists are licensed cosmetologists, but isn't that what we're doing? Trying to, again, find people who get it, who are compassionate about
Yep.
it, you know, and that's the thing. I mean, in a world, when you have all the choices to choose from vendors, solution providers, why not choose from the ones that have this, you have this kindred spirit with? That's what we're doing here. That's all this is, you know, like, I mean, you know, no big deal. We're just changing the world. But the idea of that is the idea is people want to do they want to do business with people that they're connected to, they have relationship with, and that they have, you know, something in the rapport. And I think the folks that we are building this community with are people who already have there. You know, I say this when in networking, I say, like, when I make an introduction, I want somebody, you know, rounding first base on the way to second. You know, meaning by the time they get the email, I make the introduction, Jeff, you got to know Holly, you got to know Jeff. By the time they get that, they're already jazzed because I made that introduction, and they know there's already this thing, right? And maybe I've set the stage that why they should be connecting. And that's the thing about it is in this, we have this built-in connection of these folks, right? Val, that's community. I see you smiling, Heffron. I see you smiling.
I'm thinking, of course, because I'm already thinking about, like, we have to introduce Heather. We had on Heather Maltby. She was one of our first guests, and she's a trust and estates lawyer. And she fostered, year one of COVID, she fostered over 80 cats and kittens.
Oh my God.
So I'm sitting here saying to myself, if I could refer a trust and estates lawyer, now she's in Florida, but that doesn't matter for you guys. So like, if I can refer a trust and estates lawyer who is clearly an animal lover, you know, why wouldn't you guys want to work together? Of course you would. It's just a no-brainer.
Yep, 100%. And that's it. And that's what we're doing here. Learn, educate, advocate. Jeff, leave us with one comment. Holly, leave us one comment, and then we're going to keep it moving.
Leave you one comment.
Something we should know about you.
I got started in my business when I was 7 years old.
7 years old. We should have started with that. And how old are you now, if you want to tell us?
59.
All right, fair. You've
My
been
grandmother died at my feet.
Well, I don't know who
started
employed
to-
you, but I don't know if that's legal.
with seven
Yeah.
years old. It might have been 52 years ago. It might have been legal.
Well, my grandmother died at my feet.
Oh my God.
So at that point in time, I knew it was important
Yeah.
to collect memories.
Wow.
So, and when I was 7, I started to collect memories not only of my family members, but of my pets. So I have pets that I have a picture of me laying down when I was 4 years old with the first pet I have.
Really?
I had
What was it? Tell me quick, and then we're gonna go to Holly. What was the first pet you had?
a poodle,
Oh my God. Do you remember the poodle's name?
Peppy.
Peppy the Poodle. Peppy the Poodle. All right. Holly Shan, leave us with something before I make this any sillier. Please.
Tommy, I just love you, dude. You are awesome. I'm so tracking with everything.
I know, he's so funny.
I do the best.
Oh my gosh. He's awesome. So yeah, so what I want to say also is yeah, I pursued the realm of pet loss grief counseling because grieving the loss of a pet is bigger than me. Because the folks who are grieving still deserve a non-judgmental space. They deserve understanding and, like I said, compassion, and be treated with compassion and dignity, and to be that lighthouse in their darkest hour.
Yeah.
So anybody who is grieving that loss should never ever feel shame, and never feel like they should get over it.
Yes.
Or walk off. So that's the big thing. And another thing real quick about the 5 stages of grief,
Yeah.
They are not linear. They're not linear at all. You can experience all of them or some of them at once, and sometimes you'll loop back through. So it's never a linear process.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you know what? I'm gonna get a dog anyway. All right. You know what? Well, not right now, not today. Although I will tell you, Val, there's been a couple. I'm trying to remember where I saw him. Oh, you know who just got a dog? My friend Yolanda just got a dog. Val, I gotta text this picture. Yolanda Rubano Gross, she's executive director. She's always watching my shows. She's executive director of Options for Community Living here in Long Island. Very, very special agency. But we're connected on Facebook, and I saw this dog. If I could find it quick, I would, but let's just do it later on. I'll share it with everybody. I mean, he's got this big old white face. I think he's some kind of pit. But I'll show you, Val. You tell me. We'll talk about it later.
I love the pitties.
Oh my God, I showed it, like, forget about it. I mean,
yeah.
he or she, I don't know if it's a boy or girl, but the dog is beautiful. All right, look, we do have to leave it here because we will talk for days, and we can't do that. It's not that kind of show. So it's long format, but it's not that long format. Val, leave everybody with something before I say what I like to say at the end of the show.
So since our events are selling out, I just want to encourage everyone to check our website, www.pal-show.com. That's dash, not underscore. And also, please sign up for our mailing list. We're doing a lot of great things for the animals, including calls to action to help advocate for positive change in animal welfare legislation.
Wherever you found us, like, subscribe, do all those things, share it with your friends, tell them how awesome we are, because we are. All right, I leave you with this. First, Jeff, thank you. Holly, thank you. Val, thank you for letting me be part of your
Thank you.
The greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged in the way its animals are treated. Thank you, Gandhi. Make it a great night, everybody. Happy MLK Day. Appreciate you all. Good night.
Yay, Gandhi.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.